Today I meet up with Janine Charron, a former hockey player turned business owner. Through her live interviews on Facebook, she continues to share her inspiring stories from near bankruptcy to enormous success. So come on and follow me. Hi Janine, how are you?
Great, how are you?
I'm fine. So happy to have you on Follow Me. You're my first guest of this season. So we know you really love fitness. How did you get started in sports?
Yeah, I mean, I was always, my parents, I had great role models. They were always out the door when I was little. You know, my mom was a swimmer, my dad loved hockey, but we played everything. I think the only thing I didn't play was basketball, so sorry to any basketball lovers. But I really think it was because I sucked at it.
Yes, and now you're the owner of Bare Fitness because they brought you all that sports. You played so many sports. Now you're one of the owners of Bare Fitness.
Yeah, so I went to school at the University of New Hampshire on a full scholarship for ice hockey, and then I played in the National Women's Hockey League.
Wow.
And then, and my sister was Team Canada Rugby. My brother had a hockey scholarship too, so my parents did a really great job at, we played everything, like football, hockey, soccer.
A sporty girl.
Oh yeah, yeah. I like to beat up the boys, you know.
And what made you convert all that passion for sport into a business?
Well, I used to live in Texas, and bar fitness was the big thing then. And so when I had gone through a divorce and when I met my now husband, Greg, when I came back to Ottawa, I was like, we need to bring bar to Ottawa. But my big passion is mindset and helping people grow. So I wanted to transform people from the inside out, hence why we came up with Inside Out Studio Bar, because you can physically look fantastic, but if you don't have the mind connection and you're not taking care of other things and spiritual side of things, people don't understand why they don't feel aligned with.
And did you struggle with that? Did it happen to you where you were not aligned with, like, your mind and your body weren't not aligned at one point in your life?
Weekly? No.
Same here.
I think that's the beauty, and people think that they need to get to this destination, and it's like, you guys need to understand, every day is a daily practice. Sometimes you have the best days and they go in your line and you get your morning routine down, but I'm just constantly practicing, and as I've taken more risks in my life, it's like you master getting back into that peak state quicker. Sometimes like we go through a really difficult period of time and we stay in it for like a month or two, right, as opposed to like now it's like, okay, I can have a bad morning and shift to that peak state. So I think people need to shift their awareness around, it's just being aware. Okay, like what just set my emotions off? Why am I flying off the handle here? And then bring yourself back. But Inside Out was mind, body, soul connection. I wanted people, our mantra was, people rarely remember what you say, but they always remember how you made them feel. So, I mean, that was our goal. You came in, I wanted you to know that I see you, I hear you. Aww. How can I make your day better? Like when we went through closing our Stittsville location, and we went through.
You had a financial hardship.
Yeah, we went through personal bankruptcy. I hid it from everyone. I'd be crying in my car. We had one location.
Why did you hide it?
Well, because when you're going through it, you're embarrassed, and there's shame comes up, right? And then you're like, here's your studio that's packed with people, but here I am crying in my car. And I always felt like, if you're coming to my business and paying, I'm here to help benefit your day. I'm not here to pour all my problems onto you. So yeah, a number of times I'd be crying before a class, and then just had to like, okay, put on my Inside Out face and go in. And it wasn't about being inauthentic. I just didn't think it was the time or place to put that on my guests. It was they were coming for their hour in their day to feel better. And
you find the strength to open another gym. You know, you went through the financial hardship.
Well, that actually happened because of the second location. So the first location was our baby. It was the great one. Luckily, we incorporated them separately, so when that one went down, the second one, it didn't affect the first.
Good.
And then
Good technique.
Yeah, I know.
Take notes.
Actually, and then so when we were in that place, I felt like such a hypocrite because I'm like, here I am preaching health and wellness, but behind closed doors, I was eating unhealthy food. We were drinking a little bit too much wine. Like we were totally, it was a period of my life that I'm actually very grateful I went through, like all my experiences in my life, because I feel it makes me such a better coach because I can relate to people so much more. And I had to have a really good, hard look in the mirror. And a lot of people don't realize when we go through those tough times in life, they look to blame. And we look outside ourselves, but that's why you have to go back to the inside. And I had to have a really tough conversation with myself. And I remember looking at myself in the mirror and being like, who the hell are you? And it was a big moment of like, if anybody's going to turn this around, it's going to be me. And then Greg and I gave a rebirth to my Tiger method, and we got on this big self-care kick. And then my first studio business boomed again, and then
So what the heck is the Tiger method? Because you talk about it all the time, but I know it's part of you, and also your grandpa used to call you Tiger.
That makes it, it's funny. Anytime someone says that, I immediately get a little emotional. But yeah, so growing up, he called me Tiger. If you were at one of my hockey games, like my grandpa needed his own bench because he slid up and down and followed the game. And
a true fan.
Yeah, go Tiger. We had a really special bond, and sometimes it's just, I don't even know where it came from. It's just a knowing that we had this special connection. So when he passed away in 2010, I was living in Texas, and I was in a coffee shop, and literally just all this Tiger method, I filled a notebook in like one sitting. And the Tiger, it's an acronym, right? So
T for?
Transform your thinking.
Wow.
Well, people don't realize, I mean, it's all, we can work, people will work on their physical body, but they need to work on their mind, because that's when you have to overcome your struggles and your hardships. Like when I work out now, when I worked out in my 20s, it was for aesthetics. Now it's for, I'm prepared to take on life, because I know if I can do 5 extra reps there, I'm building that muscle in my head too, right?
That muscle in your head to become stronger mentally.
Well, so personal development is like the foundation of everything, or just being open to learning, like what skill sets do I need to learn to get me to that next level of my life, right? So, and so basically, to sum up the Tiger method, because people always ask, I help people align their actions with their ambitions. So a lot of people say like, I want to lose weight, do this, but it's like, hey, I'm having my Diet Coke and Boston cream. So
let's just say, let's apply the Tiger method. I want to become a TV host. Okay. So what are the steps that you go through? Yeah. So that's now that you want to be a TV host, but what people don't really realize is we need to go back to what they actually believe in themselves, because humans lead with belief, and what you focus on, you find. So if you focus on the negative, guess what? Self-loathing is everywhere. If you focus on positive or always look for that silver lining, people will find that. There's actually an area of your brain, it's called your reticular activating system. It's like a heat-seeking missile. So the best way to explain it is you see a purse that you love, and then all of a sudden you've never noticed it, and all of a sudden everybody has it. That's your RAS at work. So that's why goal setting is very important. So you might want to, do you want to be a TV host? Is that what you said? So that would be in our goal setting part. So the T in transform your thinking is personal development, or maybe we need a mentor, or who do you look to in the TV industry that you want to become and follow, and ask them how they got there, right? Great. And then so we focus on different, and that's just a daily practice. What are we learning? What are we developing on today? How can I be better today than I was from yesterday, right? The I is, we talk about ignite your passion or purpose. So getting people to dig down on why they love that, or what fuels you to go after that. Because when you find out what you really want to achieve, it creates its own energy, and you wake up with meaning and purpose, right? So you vibrate at a higher level.
Absolutely. It's even when I sit here and talk to you, my natural, like I've been tired, I've been at events all week, and like I was even like, oh my God, I forgot I was doing this today. But as soon as we get into this mode, like I feel my energy is just, because I'm so passionate about it. The G is goal setting, and this is where the TV host, we would set goals for that and why you want to reach them. But really, it's all back in that T, the foundation of like, we need to get your mindset right so that you have the confidence and you believe in what you're up to, and you have a clear message, and we just go after it. And then the E in Tiger is execute. So we could have this great conversation, but if you don't take action, nothing happens. And then the R is review and revise. So what do we need to, go back to the T, what do we need to learn more about? the transformative thinking. Maybe it ignited a new passion or purpose, and then let's set new goals, take action, review. So it's like plan, do, review, plan, do, review.
How often do you do it? Do you do it every month, every 6 months, every year?
Yeah, it's different. I mean, I feel like I've had to, it's funny, the Tiger Method I created in 2010, I gave it a rebirth in 2017, but I really feel like this year is when it all kind of like, because I was hired as a keynote speaker at CHIO, and then I had to put my slideshow together, and then I'm hosting events and doing a lot more public speaking now. And I had this moment of like, when I even made my first card, I was like, I had tears streaming down my face, because I'm like, it took 9 years. People don't realize, like, everything looks like it's like an overnight success. And it took 9 years of like me building my belief and figuring out how do I want this to be understood, and what impact do I want to make in people's lives. And it's still ever, like, I believe in evolution, and we're always getting better, and being open to new experiences. And that's what's funny. Sometimes even my husband is like, what are you doing today? Like, I was filming in a movie, The Exchange, a couple weeks ago, and he's like,
in Ottawa.
yeah, with one of the main actors, Justin Hartley from This Is Us, you know, the guy that plays Kevin.
The hot guy.
Yeah. I know. The first few days I was like really starstruck, and then everyone's just, you know, human being. And I didn't even know that this experience was going to happen, but my girlfriend is the casting director, and she needed like 250 extras.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, well, if you need my help, you know. And yeah, it turned into a great experience.
And how did you like that experience? You said it's great, but what did you learn about yourself?
Honestly, when you see my role, it's really funny.
Cool.
I'm not going to, I don't want to spoil it, but it's just putting yourself in new experiences. And this is what I try to teach people that I coach. And that's one of my bigger messages. It's like, don't be afraid to try. Like my mom, I'll never forget, I was a teenager and I was helping her make her bed when we were younger, and she's walking on the right side and I'm on the left. And I can see it, and we're pulling up the sheets, and she said, Janine, don't ever be afraid to take risks in your life. I didn't take enough risks. And it's funny, I feel like...
And she told you that at what age?
I was probably, I know, I've asked her, I'm like, how old do you think? I must have been in like grade 11 or 12.
High school.
But it's funny, I feel like that's why I'm very careful with the words I choose, because you never know what's gonna stick, right? Like as parents, we're giving our kids advice all the time. And that one sentence, I'm like my mom, I'm probably giving her a heart attack a million times, but that one sentence has carried me through my life. Like I don't have fear of failure. I shouldn't say that. No one wants to fail. No one. But what I've learned is I've built this muscle of taking chances because I keep taking chances. And that's what I try to coach people. It's like, we don't know. Like, you're going to have your goal. Your goal is here. But this path might not be the goal that can get there, but you want to be willing to adapt and adjust as you go. And I always put myself in new experiences because I never know who I'm going to meet. I ended up on a movie set a couple weeks ago. I'm sitting here with you today. Yes. Like, I say yes to a lot of things. I don't. You don't get tired of saying yes? Sometimes but I feel tired. But I say no to, this is a yes for an experience of like personal growth and figuring it out for me. But I've learned to say no to like, I get social, I mean, I'm very social and I love to go with my friends. So I understand. Who doesn't like to sit on a patio and have a beer and, you know, have fun and talk? But I'm learning more and more to say no to those things, but yes to more experiences or more moments with my children. That's one thing that I'm trying to really put time into now, because when we had the studio for 7 years, like I barely did breakfast and I didn't do bedtime. And my husband, I mean, he really took care of stuff at home. Well, here I am going after these goals and dreams and having to be at the studio. So, I mean, he was very involved in the studio, but there came a time where it was like, we've got a 5, a 4, and a 14-year-old. Wow. So, my 14-year-old is my... And how do you balance that? Because, you know, you're very active on social media. You do, like, interviews with local celebrities, just like me, but you really go into deep stuff. Yeah. And that's why I really love to watch your Facebook Live. And one of the, I think, famous one for me was Melissa Lamb, because she's a TV host, and she got fired. And you got to get an interview with her not long after, you know, she left the TV station, and she's a well-known TV host. Yeah, so I think human beings are phenomenal. And I love grit and perseverance and what we've had to overcome and what I've had to overcome in my own life and learn about myself. But what I feel like with social media, it's a highlight reel, right? So I wanted to shine light on vulnerability and before I do an interview, like I make sure I tell them, I'm like, I don't want to just sit and chat with you. I want to ask about that. And if you're open to it, I think the world needs to hear, because everyone has these ideas of what happened, or they label it, or they judge it, and I'm
What's
like,
the real story behind this?
Yeah, and and that's where it goes back to the T and Tiger transform your thinking, like someone goes through when they go through something like that. You're going to work for, she's been doing the same thing for, I think it was 6-7 years or maybe longer, and then you walk in one day and the whole rug is pulled out from underneath you. And what does that do to you as your identity, as a person? Yes. Like for the longest time, even when I was a hockey player, that's what I was trying to even say before. Like I was a hockey player, my identity was wrapped up and I'm a hockey player. And it took me a long time to not introduce myself as that. And then my identity was Inside Out Studio Bar. And then it was weird, even when new owners took over, it was weird to shift out of that identity. But as you take bigger leaps and try, it's easy to shift out of like, okay, that served me here. I built the most amazing community, friendships, and now my focus is public speaking and the Tiger method. And I want to impact as many lives as possible by sharing people's stories. I love, like with Melissa, to hear what she went through. And she cried. I don't know if you saw it, but she cried in the video.
I watched the whole thing. I was watching it live, and I think I was not the only one, because it was soon after she got fired.
Yeah, and you could feel the emotion that people felt for it. But that's why I think it's really important to talk to people at that time. And I will never be disrespectful and be like, someone just lost a child. Let's do that. I'm not going to be on them, or you're going through that hardship. But I felt it was the right time, and I think when you choose the right words and you come from the right place with love and care and know, like, I'm not here to just get my name out there to expose you. I really want people to understand the heart, like what you've really felt, because they're curious.
So who's next now in your Facebook Live? Because you got some very interesting people and very powerful people.
Yeah, like Leanne Lang and Tony Greco, and I just did one with Sarah Roberts, and then Elisa, I can't say her last name, Kurlowitz, the skier. So I don't know. I'm trying to think, who was I talking to? I'm really one of those, like, I'll meet someone and I'm just like, okay, we need to sit down. And I'm not afraid to reach it. Like, some people would be like, oh my God, don't talk. I'm not afraid to call. Like, I would call the president if I had a question.
Yes.
Like,
and that's what makes
I'm sure I get blocked there, but that's what I'm not afraid to go walk up to people and just say, do you mind, would you be open to sitting down and just talking about your story and how you got there? And
you go just about everywhere, because you're not in a set setting like me.
Well, I honestly have a ring light, and it's portable, and just plug it into the wall. And like, I've done one with Stacy from Kania on Mooney's Bay. Everyone was like, where is the camera? Because it was a really windy day. And I think we like had my husband is so great. He's bought me like a phone ring light. He's bought me a big ring light, and he's bought me like this thing that attaches to like a tree and then holds your phone.
So you're equipped.
But the power of social media.
Yes.
Like, you can go live from anywhere. And it's like, people like, and that's to get back to, say you want to be a TV host. Guess what? Start with Facebook Lives.
That's true.
You have a YouTube channel.
We never
like know. You don't need all this. And I know this is the end goal, but
things are changing anyway.
Yeah. Start. And that's my message to people. Like, you just got to get into action. And that's where, like, my vision for the Tiger Method is to transform a world of wishful thinking into a world of powerful action. Because we sit on the couch and we dream and we wish, but everybody wants to be the champion, but nobody wants to do the work to become the champion, right? And that's what I want people to get. Like, are you willing to put in the work? I hear what you're saying, and the Tiger Method, let's get to work.
So now we're gonna go in your social media. And you're a big fan of Facebook. And Facebook is where you do your Facebook Lives. That's where we see all about you. And you have a saying that you like to contribute on Facebook, but not to be a consumer. So remind me of that.
Well, I feel like everybody wants to be heard, right? And then, but it's like, here's a picture of my cat, my dog, what I ate for breakfast. I just went to the bathroom. Let's all document. It's like, if I don't feel that I'm adding value to the people that are looking at my page, I'm not posting it, right? So, as someone who was a major consumer, and you get sucked in the scroll hole, right? You're like, oh, I'm looking at my best friend, now I'm on, who's that guy? And then, oh, look at that dog. And oh, we have 2 hours have passed. And like, we're missing out on so many moments. So I try to contribute, add value, and then get off.
So now we're gonna get in.
Yeah, go in.
And that's your page, your Facebook page. I'm gonna give you the cell phone. So I want to know, who do you follow? Who do you follow?
Yeah, I love people like Rachel Hollis is someone that I really resonate with.
Okay.
She's in the self-help. I love anything about personal development, health, fitness. Yeah, I mean, I don't get caught up in any of the debates that you see on social media or anything political. I stay away. I think those conversations are not well received in writing. So,
That is true.
But Rachel Hollis, like Tony Robbins, I love even any of the local business owners here. I'm very inspired by what they're up to. Yeah, Leanne Lang, Melissa Lamb, definitely Tony Greco. We have so many amazing people in the city. Catherine Landry with Ladies Who Lunch, she's phenomenal in what she does. But yeah, a lot of local celebrities, and then mostly self-help.
And fitness.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
fitness. Wow. And here, we're just going to go back again because the first picture was interesting. Here we have Heather Messenger.
Yeah.
It's a friend of yours?
Yeah, she's in the States.
She's in the States? Yeah, you live in the States. And she's talking about breast implants, illness. I know it's not you, but I know it's popular right now. A lot of people
are getting explants. That's what they call it.
Explants.
Yeah.
So you take it out.
Yeah, because I've actually lately I've seen like 10 posts of some of my friends in the fitness industry that have all taken them out. Interesting, and it's because they get sick from them.
Yeah.
I don't know the science behind all that. But.
No, it's all good. And recently you hosted Ladies Who Lunch. How was that?
Yeah, the NAC. Oh, it was awesome. It was. Anytime you get a chance to speak, I think it's your responsibility, if you're being put in that situation, to leave people better than when you found them. So I didn't sleep most of the week. So even coming out, I'm like,
were you nervous?
Oh, of course. I'm always nervous because it's important to me. And that's what I tell people. You need to lean in where things bring fear up for you or where you are scared. That's where you need to go. That is where you're going to have the growth. And you were talking about even like when you moved to Montreal, getting out of your comfort zone.
Yes.
Right? And that was a room full of my peers, a lot of other business owners. And when you get put in those situations, don't get me wrong, we're all humans. I'm sure there's people sitting in their seats going like, why did she get picked and not me? Or whatever. The judgment game. So I wanted to make sure Catherine Landry, who puts on those events, is phenomenal. If anybody needs to hire someone in marketing, and she's amazing at it, her business called Betty, but I wanted to make sure that I always say, like, how can I best serve you? What can I do for you to help make this the event that you wanted? Because if they're asking me to speak, I'm an extension of whatever they're creating, right?
Exactly.
So I really take it to heart and making sure I do a good job for them.
Yes, and you did it with Gwen Madiba.
Yes.
You did it with Gwen. She came to our show as well.
Yeah. And
how did you find the experience? Was it your first time working with Gwen?
Yeah, I've never worked with her before. She's great. She's a new mom. I totally know that, and she's so busy. Like it's like, Kay, can we do a Facebook Live? She's like, I can. I'm going to France, and I got to do this. And then it's like, and then we had Jen and Amber from Pure Yoga on the panel, Melissa Shabinsky.
Let's go see. Do you have pictures on it?
From Ladies Who Lunch?
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Let's do that.
Ladies Who Power Lunch. Well, there's the whole lineup up there, and Solange. I don't know if you're, and then Leanne Lang,
yes.
And is it just. So people right now are popping on, thanking them. There's so many amazing prizes that were donated for people and saying how much they loved the event. I believe the pictures are under, probably in the discussion. This woman here, actually, they honored her at the talk. Some guy poured acid on her and her whole body.
Wow.
Burned, like that, her face was totally different than before she went into the hospital.
So this is before or now?
This is now.
Okay.
But Catherine, this is like the money that they raised for the raffle tickets, surprised her and pulled her up and gave her the money.
Oh, wow.
And then she shared her story. And here we are. Like, this is what people never realize. You never know who you're sitting next to.
You never know their story.
And that's, then I just got, like, my whole body just got chills. That's what I'm so passionate about, is telling people's story, because I met this woman before the event. I just went up and said hi. I didn't even know who she was or what her story. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that,
You've been through that.
And that's why I always tell people, like, be vulnerable, share your stories. You never know what you're going to learn from someone who's sitting next to you, or if you have your goals or whatever in your life. When it relates to my Tiger Method, it's like they might know someone that can help you get to that next level of your life. And yeah, so her being there, she got to share her story. Let's like it. Yeah, so there's the lineup. So we're missing Jen. Jen had to run back to the studio to teach, but yeah, and these are the owners of Three Wild Women, because they dressed me for the event. So They're excellent. Oh my gosh, have you ever been in that store?
Never.
It's like a kitchen party. Everybody knows their names. They're coming in. They're like, ah! I'm like, holy jeez, this is the hot spot. It was like 11 a.m. on a weekday. But yeah, so everyone's just posting different events. We had the panel there. That's my mom. That's my
hi,
mom.
Mommy. Hi, Mommy.
And it's funny. I started inviting my mom to these events because I find it really holds me accountable to be prepared. I did one event a couple months ago. I was at a Mo Mondays and I had to speak, and I was overconfident and I didn't prepare, and I never want to feel that way again. I felt like because I didn't take the time to really get clear on my message. And you should, as someone who again is speaking, you owe it to the people in the chairs not to waste their time. And it was a big lesson for me, and I'm like, I never want to feel that way again.
It happens to the best of us.
Yes.
It happened to me too. So I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So anything personal development related, fitness, anything that builds community. I love getting people together.
And to keep your mind straight, that mind, body, and soul, what apps do you like?
I actually love Audible. It's for books, audiobooks. It's a podcast or just personal development.
We'll get the name
stuff.
After.
Yeah. So I listen to it. Pardon?
Why do you like that podcast?
Because it gets me in peak state. So like if I wake up and I'm tired, I don't feel like going to the gym, as soon as I put those earbuds in, I start hearing this. Like I have some that are quite intense, like a coach, and it's like, we are going to war. It's a war against yourself, you know? And but like then I'm like, oh, I'm fired up, and it gets you better. Like it reminds yourself of your goals. It's easy when emotions. At the end of your emotions is nothing, but at the end of every principle is a promise. So like I know if I go to the gym 4 or 5 times a week, I'm going to be fit and strong. But I also know if I am emotional and I'm going through a hard time and I let that emotion control my day, nothing gets done. So that's what people got to realize. They're separating the emotion from the action. Yeah, and that's where with my Tiger method, it's like as long as you stay in action, you're always moving one step forward. You don't have. It's not about perfection. It's about progress, right?
What kind of message do you want to send out right now to people that are stuck?
You need to build your integrity with your word, with yourself. A lot of people say they want something, but they know deep down inside they're not going to follow through. And people don't realize you don't just wake up with this like amazing belief in yourself. You have to cultivate that belief. And how do you do it? You get into action. People don't realize humans lead with belief. So if you say you're going to go work out and don't, how do you think that affects your self-esteem and your belief in can I really see things through or get things done? People, a lot of times too, I remember calling a coach when I felt stuck. And she was like, Janine, you're so not stuck, you can't even sleep. Like you just need to, we get nervous and we get anxious because we want to predict what's gonna happen, but you can't predict the outcome. You just need to put one foot in front of the other. It's like when people go hike Kilimanjaro, they don't, you go a level and then you rest for the night. And then that's life though. You just get to that next level and then take a little rest and then you keep climbing, right? And people don't realize, and life is peaks and valleys. They're gonna be ups and downs. Like I got divorced, I went through a personal bankruptcy. I've had so many challenges with like even staff that you have to communicate and learn with that I've had to go back and go, listen, I didn't handle that properly and I had to learn from it. And people don't realize that if you're stuck, just do something. But just get up, like go for a workout, a lot of people don't realize that conversation that you're putting off is keeping you stuck. That action or that ability, if you want to, lose weight, go for a walk. People don't realize you don't have to it doesn't have to be big. Start small, dream big, but start small. And then that gap gets smaller and smaller and you're able to do the bigger things, right?
So we're gonna keep on following you to see your big dreams come true.
And I'm in that place right now. Like new owners took over the studio in January. I love telling people stories. I'm doing Facebook Lives. I'm on a movie. I'm here with you. Like even my husband is like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I don't know, but I'm gonna figure it out." That's the beauty of like just being willing to go forward. Even Leanne Lang at Ladies Who Lunch, she shared with how everybody's coming up to her and going like, "Wow, you're killing it." And she's like, I haven't made a penny in 4 months. I went from a 6-figure income to follow my passion and wanting to create this living your life with Leanne Lang podcast. But she's like, but what I'm doing is I'm creating the content. So for in a year from now, when that opportunity does show
prepared.
Up, exactly.
Yes.
And people don't realize that.
Yeah.
It's all about like if you do it, and then opportunities are there, but a lot of times we're not in the right space to accept them, right? And it's there's always room for the best in terms of. A lot of people, like even if you think you're in a crowded market in TV or whatever your dream job, there is always room for the best at the top. They'll always make way for someone to do better, have a new vision. But if you're passionate and you believe and you just keep going, you'll find a way.
Well, we'll keep going with you, watching you on social media, and thank you for coming.
Oh my gosh, thank you for having me. I was so grateful when I got the message, so I feel blessed to be here.
Amen. Amen.